Hey guys, I'm really hoping today that and the books fell over, that my camera doesn't die because it's getting that horrible red flashy battery thing that happens every single time I think I sit down to film videos. So it might be a bit disjointed, but we will hope not. I have got a new light, which I mentioned in my last video, and it's really much better than before. I'm going to put another light here so that there's not loads of shadow. I just haven't bothered to put it up yet. I got them for my birthday, which was a couple of days ago, and I've been out on a massive book buying binge, so I thought I'd share with you everything that I got. I only got one brand new book because I banned myself from buying brand new books for 2017, and I think I've done pretty well to get 6 months through without buying any completely new books, but I really needed this. So this is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. It's a book of poetry. If you've ever been on Tumblr, or I always find bits of her poetry on Pinterest as well, or even Twitter or Instagram, it's all over the internet, and basically the poems look like this. So sometimes there's little line drawings, they're always quite short, and it just says on the back, "This is the journey of surviving through poetry. This is the blood, sweat, tears of 21 years. This is my heart in your hands. This is the hurting, the loving, the breaking, the healing." And it's kind of laid out as a poem as well. It's so good. If you buy one book this year, make it this one. I have fallen in love. My sister never reads anything and she read it all in one sitting. I've been resisting trying to read it all in one go. I want to read it kind of randomly, not in chronological order, but I've read so much of it already and I'm trying to save bits of it so that every so often I can read a new one. And honestly, I think if she brought out any more poetry, I'd buy it on the first day. It is amazing. So, and on to the books that I don't really know anything about. This is, you can see I bought this from my local charity shop, which I actually did with all of the ones that I've got left. So this is The Manifesto on How to Be Interesting by Holly Bourne. I've actually read another book by her. I'm not sure I remember what it's called, but I did quite like it. I recognised her name because I remembered liking her book. And the blurb says, "Apparently I'm boring, a nobody, but that's all about to change because I am starting a project here," need some water, "now for myself, and if you want to come along for the ride, then you're very welcome." Brie is by no means popular. Most of the time she hates her life, her school, her never there parents, so she writes. But when Brie is told she needs to stop shutting the world out and start living a life worth writing about, the manifesto on how to be interesting is born. A manifesto that will change everything. But the question is, at what cost? So this is a young adult novel. I kind of like that the sides look like a highlighter. I think I've spoken before about how I am one of those people that judges a book by its cover, and I thought this cover was kind of cool. And I'm pretty sure I've heard Very Berry Cosmo talking about it. Don't quote me on that, but anything that she reads and says she'd like, I will pick up if I get the chance because I trust her judgment. I'm just going to move my massive stacks over. I think this is the biggest book haul that I've kind of ever had on this channel, and means I'm extra excited for it, so that's all good. Okay, so this is The One We Fell in Love With by Paige Toon. This was actually part of the Zoella book club this year, but I didn't get a chance to pick it up because of my I'm not buying any brand new books ban. So when I found it in my local charity shop, I was like, I recognise this from somewhere, and that's where. So it says, on the back, "Phoebe is caught between a rock and a hard place. Settle down and get married or return to the French Alps to pursue her passion. Eliza is in love with someone who is no longer hers. In fact, he probably never was, and her dream of becoming a successful musician seems to be vanishing before her eyes. Rose is out of a job and out of a boyfriend. To make matters worse, she's been forced to move back in with her mother. But these very different girls have one thing in common. Angus, the one they fell in love with." So from Zoella's book club this year, I think I've read 3 of the novels now, and I've loved all of them, so I'm really hoping that I love this one too. She seems to pick some really good books, and the cover's really cute as well, I think. Ooh. Right, this is something completely different. It's A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, or Burgess, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but this is something that I've wanted to read for years. I've never come across it. It's one of those ones that I don't actively want to read. I don't go looking out for it, but I kind of spied it and really want to give it a go. So it's quite short, which I wasn't expecting, but it says, there were the glosses of Millicent's telling them to shut it, and you could slooshy the zvook of like somebody being tolchocked real horror show and going ow, and it was like the golos of a drunken starry psitsa, not a man. It's the it's the near future. In an unnamed city, London, Berlin, Prague, Alex and his teenage droogs are on the prowl, spending their evenings looking for ultra-violence, rape and even murder. There's a price to be paid though. When Alex is jailed and subjected to the chilling Ludovico technique that will turn him into a good citizen. But is it morally right to deprive someone of his capacity for evil? Next up is another young adult novel. I've picked up loads this month. So this is The Broken Bridge by Philip Pullman. I'm a big fan of Pullman's work, and he's bringing out a 4th book in the Northern Lights trilogy, which means I have to go back and read them all and then read the new one, but for the minute I'm going to start reading some other novels of his. So it says, Ginny is 16 and life is great. She's turning out to be a brilliant artist like her mother, who died when she was a baby. She loves her home by the sea. Best of all, Andy has come back for the summer. But Ginny's world is about to break apart. Her father has kept a devastating secret from her all her life. Piece by piece she discovers that everything he has told her about herself is a lie. So who is she? Ginny must return to the dark tragedies of the past to find out. So next up is Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller. Again, I really like the cover of this. I thought it looked really cute. And it's winner of the Desmond Elliott Prize in 2015, which doesn't mean very much to me, but I imagine it means a lot to Claire Fuller. So it says, Peggy is 8 years old when her father takes her to live in a cabin in a remote European forest. There he tells her that her mother and the rest of the world are gone. Now the two of them must scratch a living from the earth, trapping squirrels, foraging for berries, surviving winter as best they can. But it is easy to lose your way in the forest, to lose yourself. How long will Peggy believe her father's story? How long can you stay sane when the world is lost? And what happens when you stop believing in everything? This is Geek Girl by Holly Smale, I imagine that's how you pronounce it. I've seen a lot about this and I really want to give it a go. So it says, Harriet Manners knows a lot of things. Cats have 32 muscles in each ear. Bluebirds can't see the colour blue. The average person laughs 15 times per day. Peanuts are an ingredient of dynamite. But she doesn't know why nobody at school seems to like her. So when she's offered the chance to reinvent herself, Harriet grabs it. Can she transform from geek to chic? And it's got like a really pretty thing on the inside of the cover. So, yeah, I can't remember, I've seen a lot of like people talking about this, but I can't remember who, and I really want to give it a go. Okay, next up is something completely different again. So this is Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Again, I probably massacred that name, but I've read half of A Yellow Sun before, and I read it quite a few years ago and loved it. So this I picked up because I really wanted to give it a go. It says, 15-year-old Kambili lives in fear of her father, a charismatic yet violent Catholic patriarch who, although generous and well respected in the community, is repressive and fanatically religious at home. Escape and the discovery of a new liberated way of life come when Nigeria is shaken by a military coup, forcing Kambili and her brother to live at their aunt's home, a noisy place full of laughter. The visit will lift the silence from her world and, in time, unlock a terrible bruising secret at the heart of her family life. Coughing fit. Over. Done. Sorted. So, this is another young adult book. It's called Tape and it's by Stephen Camden. I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching 13 Reasons Why recently, and I saw tape and thought of it, and that's why I bought it. So there we go, that's a little voyage into why I buy books. So it says, hello, is it going on? I'm just going to say it. 2013, things happen for a reason. That's what Amelia tells herself. The universe has a plan, right? Why else would it take her parents? Then she finds an old tape with a boy's voice on it. A voice that seems to be speaking to her. 1993. Ryan is lost. Mum gone. New stepmum. Evil stepbrother. Why would this happen? He records a diary on a tape for his mum about a girl he just met who he can't get out of his head. Amelia and Ryan are linked by more than just a tape. This is their story. And again, the cover is really, really cute. Right, this is something that I actually saw Hannah Witten talking about the other day. If you don't know her, she does a lot of like vlogging about sex and relationships, and I only discovered her recently and I'm completely obsessed with her channel. I've binge watched so many of her vlogs and so many of her videos and I love it. So I saw her talking about this the other day and then it popped up in my charity shop and I couldn't not pick it up. So it's called How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran. It says, my name's Johanna Morrigan, I'm 14 and I've just decided to kill myself. I don't really want to die, of course. I just need to kill the old me and build a new girl. Dolly Wilde will be everything I want to be and more. But as with all the best coming of age stories, it doesn't exactly go to plan. And yeah, again, it's really, really bright, really cool, really pretty, and I've had it recommended. So, right, this again is completely different. So this is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It is on the 1001 list of books that you need to read before you die. I think that's how it's said. And so I picked it up because I remembered it was on there and I want to read more of the novels off of there. So, last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. Working as a lady's companion, the heroine of Rebecca learns her place. Her future looks bleak until, on a trip to the south of France, she meets Max de Winter, a handsome widower whose sudden proposal of marriage takes her by surprise. She accepts, but whisked from glamorous Monte Carlo to the ominous and brooding Manderley, the new Mrs. de Winter finds Max a changed man. And the memory of his dead wife Rebecca is forever kept alive by the forbidding housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers. Next up, I got something that I never envisioned myself buying, but it is Girl Online by Zoe Sugg, aka Zoella. I've never read any of her books. This is the first of 3 that she's done, and yeah, it just popped up in my local charity shop, so I picked it up to see what it was like. I'm just going to peel the sticker off the back so I can actually read the blurb. Under the alias Girl Online, Penny blogs her hidden feelings about friendship, boys, her crazy family, and the panic attacks that have begun to take over her life. When things go from bad to worse, her family whisks her away to New York, where she meets Noah, a gorgeous guitar-strumming American. Suddenly, Penny is falling in love and capturing every moment of it on her blog. But Noah has a secret too, one that threatens to ruin Penny's cover and her closest friendship forever. So I think that, like, the cover is quite, like, gaudy and bright. It's obviously, like, aimed at teenagers, but I'm ready to give it a go and see what it's like. So, again, this is another, honestly, I've got so many, like, teen fiction books this time. So, this is the first book in the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepherd. I've watched all of Pretty Little Liars bar I think the last couple of episodes because I haven't caught up on them yet, but I've been obsessed with the show. I feel a bit weird about some of the relationships and I've written about that before. There's a lot of kind of perverted relationships. But this is the blurb. I don't know what the book is like. So it says, everyone has something to hide, especially high school juniors Spencer, Aria, Emily and Hannah. Spencer covets her sister's boyfriend. Aria's fantasising about her English teacher. Emily's crushing on the new girl at school. Hannah uses some ugly tricks to stay beautiful. But they've all kept an even bigger secret since their friend Alison vanished. How do I know? because I know everything about the bad girls they were, the naughty girls they are, and all the dirty secrets they've kept. And guess what? I'm telling A. Dum dum dum. So obviously I know who A is because I've watched further on in the series, but it'll be kind of interesting to see if it's the same person in the books and how everything's played out. So next up is again something completely different. So it's the Vagina Monologues. The actual like stage show of this, or play, whatever you want to call it, came to my uni and I missed out on watching it. So when I saw this I knew I had to pick it up. It's by Eve Ensler and it says on the back, "A poignant and hilarious tour of the last frontier, the ultimate forbidden zone. The Vagina Monologues is a celebration of female sexuality in all its complexity and mystery. Hailed as the Bible for a new generation of women, it has been performed in cities and colleges throughout the world and has inspired a dynamic grassroots movement, V-Day, to stop violence against women." So it's more of a... I thought it would be more of a play, but it's kind of not. But I'm excited to see what it holds because I don't actually know very much about what the stage show entails because I didn't get to see it. I just know that if I got another chance I would take it this time. Right, one of two left. Okay, we're getting towards the end guys, don't worry. So this is Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen. Sarah Dessen is an author that I was obsessed with when I was younger, and I mean as soon as she brought a new book out I would go out and buy it. I read every single one of her books. I loved them. They were my favourite kind of young adult books for a couple of years. And yeah, I literally owned every single one she brought out. But this has come out recently, I don't own it, and so when I saw it I just wanted to go back and see if her writing was as good as I remembered. And the blurb says, "Sydney has always felt invisible. Peyton, Sydney's brother, has always been the star of the family, receiving all the attention, and lately, concern. His reckless behaviour culminates in a shock accident and a jail sentence, which casts Sydney adrift, searching for her place in the family and the world. Enter the warm, chaotic Chatham family who accepts Sydney without question. It's here that she meets Mac, gentle, watchful and protective, who makes Sydney feel seen, really seen, for the first time." My camera finally cut out one book from the end, but I really wanted to show you guys the last book and actually finish this off, and you can tell this is much later because my hair is not straight anymore. So, the last book is Cranford by Elizabeth... How have I forgotten to speak in the last couple of hours? The last book is Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell. So if the quality of this is a bit different and everything's a bit different, it's because my card got full and it stopped filming. It's literally like the camera does not want me to film today, but whatever. Okay, back to this. A portrait of the residents of an English country town in the mid-19th century, Cranford relates the adventures of Miss Mattie and Miss Deborah, two middle-aged spinster sisters striving to live with dignity in reduced circumstances. Through a series of vignettes, Elizabeth Gaskell portrays a community governed by old-fashioned habits and dominated by friendships between women. Her wry account of rural life is undercut, however, by tragedy in its depiction of such troubling events as Mattie's bankruptcy, the violent death of Captain Brown, or the unwitting cruelty of Peter Jenkins. Written with acute observation, Cranford is by turns affectionate, moving and darkly satirical. So, finally we reached the end. I'm not even sure if it was worth it for just that one book, but I stuck with it. That is my massive kind of birthday June book haul shebang. I really enjoyed filming this. I love doing my book hauls. I love chatting about books and showing you guys what I've been picking up and what I'm going to be reading soon. So please let me know what you're reading at the moment and give this a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again soon. Bye guys!